What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing the gradual improvements that the Chicago Bulls can make from the third game to the fourth game. Now, if you've been watching a lot of my recent videos, you would probably know that I've been doing this from game to game, because at the end of the day, it's a very short league, and these players do not get a lot of time together, especially these young players that still have room to improve in their own game and adapting to the NBA level. So I do feel like it's important to discuss relative improvements that we can make from the Chicago Bulls game from the third game to the fourth game. But this time around, since we won so convincingly against the Toronto Raptors, I kind of want to talk about some very positive things that I'd like to stay the same as well, because those are the things that are, in my opinion, are the key into how we can approach our next game in the Summer League and how we can approach entering the Summer League and exiting the Summer League in good terms, in good fashion. And that's what I think the next goal should be for the Chicago Bulls Summer League team. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not they can have a very good fourth game of the Summer League. I do believe we will be ending up playing a fifth game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it just comes down to the record. I don't necessarily think we're competing for the Summer League championship, but I do feel like there are consolation games as well. And if we do well enough, I think we might fall into one of those categories, or maybe everybody just gets a fifth game. I'm not really sure. But in relation to what we can improve, I think the first thing that I need to say in relation to what we need to improve upon is I still feel like with the Chicago Bulls team, we have acts, we have certain times where we let runs happen. Now, obviously, game management is very important, and obviously for the second and third quarters, we managed the game very well. We extended leads instead of having them come back. The first couple of minutes of that game, they actually went up on a very good run, and we had to fight, scratch, and claw to get back, and we actually ended up walking away with a pretty convincing win at the end of the day. But even in the fourth quarter, you saw the Toronto Raptors fight almost all the way back, and they ended up only losing by 10 points when it could have easily been by 20 or 25 points for the Chicago Bulls. Now, I don't see this as a big thing because, again, the NBA is a game of runs. Of course, another team will make a run eventually, especially in the NBA. Even the worst of the worst teams will make very good runs to try and capitalize and try to come back in games. Sometimes it happens for them, sometimes it doesn't. It is the NBA, it's basketball at the end of the day as well. But again, when we have the lead the way that we did, and the balance of how a lot of our team actually contributed the way that they did, I would have liked us to manage the game a little bit better in the fourth quarter. And obviously, I don't want to see the Bulls have yet another bad start. All three of our games, we've had pretty bad starts in relation to that game. Two of them we fought back from. One of them we obviously just got absolutely destroyed in every single way, fashion, and form. So these are things that the Bulls can look at and I think can really try to work on. I think the start of the game, next game, is going to be very, not necessarily important, but very telling on how much they're trying to improve on every aspect of their Summer League experience. That is something that I would really like to see the Chicago Bulls improve. Having good starts to the game and managing the game a little bit better. But at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers. I can't sit here and say winning by 10 points is a disaster or it shouldn't have happened. I'm just saying that, you know, there could have been room for improvements. Those are the small details you got to look into when you end up having a very dominant performance against that Toronto Raptors Summer League team. What I'd also like to see kind of stay the same is the balance in which we played. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, everybody contributed. I feel like there's not one person you can say did not pull their weight in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's defensively, whether it's the consistency of their performance, whether it's a good step up, or whether it's just playing your part and playing your role. The most important thing for me is that we've got a couple of guys that are going to end up being either in a training camp deal, two-way contract deal, or just a regular roster spot in general. We've got a lot of those guys. We've got, again, Dalen Terry. We've got Justin Lewis. We've got Marco. We've got Freeman Liberty. And we obviously have a couple of other guys that are trying to make it around the league as well. But outside of those guys, having other guys impact our team the way that they did in the Summer League, gives a lot of potential for other teams to look at our Summer League, because we've done fairly well, in my opinion, this Summer League. Look at those guys that have potential, and other teams will be able to bring them into their team, which obviously helps us because we're giving them a chance to shine. And ultimately, it helps us as well just because we get a chance to look at these players as well. A lot of people were saying that Maker was a fantastic player for the Chicago Bulls in the last game against the Raptors. And I think he definitely played his part. He had some great moments in the game. Obviously, his dribble into a three was really, really good to watch. And a lot of people say he has potential. And at the end of the day, he's on our Summer League team. We see this not only day in and day out from the Summer League games, but you get to see it in training as well. And that gives us an opportunity, if we really want to pursue it, to go and bring other players into our team, whether it's on a two-way contract basis, a training camp basis, a G League basis, whatever the case may be, and start developing some younger talent, which I feel the Bulls are really trying to pursue heavily with the young talent that we've acquired already on this team. How we signed a two-way contract player in Justin Lewis, how we picked up Dalen Terry, who has a lot of potential and a lot of upside in terms of his NBA career as well. We're going a lot in terms of development, just as much as veteran players. So I think that's very important for us, and that's very important for every other team around the league, in my opinion, to look at these guys and know that they were performing in a winning Summer League team, and it was balanced as well. They were not the only one thriving. I think at the end of the day, it's a team game. If you can succeed while allowing other people to succeed as well, that is what I think most teams look at, compared to just one player dropping 28 points and that team doesn't do very well. But look, that player dropped 28 points. Most people will look at how teams perform with good performances in them as well. That's my personal opinion as well. But at the end of the day, I think that has to stay the same. I'd like to see us still continue to work on our shooting. Again, I think we've got a couple of players that I do trust from the three-point line. As I said before, Malcolm Hill, I trust the Freeman Liberty as well. Even Ethan Thompson, I think, made a couple. Maker as well. Look, there are a couple of guys that really made their threes from the last game against the Knicks to the 2 games ago against the Knicks to the last game against the Raptors. So keep on improving that three-point shooting. I think that will be a necessity for any team, really, especially a young Summer League team. So that's good as well. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. I feel like a lot of the issues that we've addressed are kind of, I guess in many ways, were resolved in the Raptors game, or just because maybe the quality wasn't the same, wasn't necessarily as much of an impact or shown in retrospect to the Knicks game. So I could talk about individual players as well. I thought Dalen Terry had a fantastic first half against the Toronto Raptors, and I would absolutely love if he could continue, I guess, keeping that level of play up for this last game, so a lot of people could start building that confidence in Dalen Terry as a Chicago Bulls player, and knowing what he could bring not only on the ball, but also off the ball as well. That could be very good. In relation to Marco, I just want Marco just to be the best player he could be in terms of this next game. He had an average game against the Raptors, a disappointing game against the New York Knicks, and an amazing game against the Dallas Mavericks. So right now, I'm intrigued to see how Marco's fourth performance will end up being, but I just want to see him perform at his best. I never expected 27 or 13 every single game, but I kind of think we've seen the best and the worst from Marco already in this Summer League. So we've seen that there's still inconsistencies there. Hopefully in the fourth game, he can stand up and deliver very nicely for the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, Justin Lewis has been, in my opinion, the most consistent player on this Summer League team, which really goes to show how much I was proven wrong when I talked about what I expected out of Justin Lewis in the Summer League. I expected inconsistencies, and that's not what I've gotten in relation to Justin Lewis. I think he's been the most consistent. He hasn't been the best player, been far from the worst player, but he's still there making an impact in one way or another. He's always good for a steal or a block per game. He always makes a couple of shots here and there as well, and he knows how to rebound the ball at least three times per game. So that's really an interesting side that I was proven wrong about, and I'm happy that I was, because that will mean in the NBA, there's a good chance he could also be relatively consistent there as well. So keep up the good work for Justin Lewis as well. And yeah, I think everybody has a role to play in this next game, and hopefully we can have a very similar performance, a balanced performance where everybody gets involved, everybody contributes, and we walk away with a pretty convincing win. I hope that's the goal. That's what I'd like to see. Ultimately, I just want these players to have fun. The wins and losses don't necessarily count, but the competitiveness, the fight, the attitude, and of course, the balance of this team is something that I think would be a good bonus if we could really show that in this next game. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care, and